Hello, friends. I'm Judge Jefferson Griffin. I currently have the honor of serving you at the North Carolina Court of Appeals, where you statewide elected me to serve in the 2020 election. Very thankful for your support there. I'm coming to you today as a candidate for the North Carolina Supreme Court, another statewide election that will be on the general election ballot coming up here in November. And I'm humbly asking for your support once again, as I've had in the past. Just wanted to take a little bit of time. I appreciate this platform to introduce myself, talk about the campaign, why I think it's important, and why I think I'm the best candidate for this position, and feel like I hopefully have earned your support. I guess foundationally, I grew up in Eastern North Carolina as well. I grew up on a farm in Nash County, in Red Oak. I went to Northern Nash High School, so played all the Greenville schools as well. They're always tough and always gave us a good game, and oftentimes came out on top. But had a great childhood there. Went to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill for undergraduate school. In between undergrad and law school, I got my captain's license and worked on fishing boats on the North Carolina coast, and decided that was fun, but also very hard work. And I was called to go back and go to law school at North Carolina Central University in Durham. Had a great education, great experience there. Passed the bar after school and started working in Kinston, North Carolina, in private practice there at a firm. I did everything from criminal defense to wills to civil litigation. Very, very good place to practice. Wonderful people coming back home to the eastern part of the state, and had really a good foundation there and good mentors. I stayed there for a few years and then went to the Wake County District Attorney's Office. I moved to Raleigh and became an assistant district attorney, a prosecutor there. Did that for 5 years, tried cases from infractions to homicides, serious felonies, kind of everything in between. So great experience in our court system here in North Carolina, great practical experience. Lots of hundreds of bench trials, thousands of motions, dozens of jury trials, and really dug in with my legal experience there. And then we had a judicial opening in Wake County, and I was appointed to the district court bench. I was a district court judge in Wake County. Did every civil, criminal, family court. I was a family court judge there as well. And then in 2020, I guess subsequently, I was elected to that position in Wake County. Was very involved in the bar in both Lenoir and Wake County. And then in 2020 was elected statewide to the Court of Appeals, where I've served since then. I've authored over 250 opinions, ranging from anywhere from administrative appeals, criminal cases, civil litigation, workers' compensation. It really runs the gamut of the Court of Appeals. We probably resolve 95% of the appeals in our state at that court. So very impactful on our citizens. Very diverse work, and high repetitions, especially compared to the Supreme Court, who takes fewer cases, obviously. They are the last word on any legal interpretation in our state. So I've gotten a lot of great experience there. I'm also a captain. I've been selected for promotion, but I'm a captain in the Army National Guard here in North Carolina. I was in the 30th Armored Brigade combat team, actually during 2019 and 2020, and mobilized with that unit to go to the Middle East. We served in Iraq, Kuwait, and Jordan, and served with just thousands of great North Carolinian citizen soldiers. So that's another area. And I'm a judge advocate there. So I was the national security law attorney. So I did things like law of war, training, rules of engagement, targeting issues, anything dealing with operations. That was my job, to work with planners and those folks in the brigade. Just a fantastic opportunity, and very thankful for the folks that put on the uniform and their families. My wife it was during our campaign for the Court of Appeals, so I had to separate myself from the campaign while I was mobilized for a year, and my wife had to step up and help a lot. So definitely owe a lot to her for that stepping up in that process. I still serve in the Army National Guard. I'm I'm the senior defense counsel for North Carolina. So soldiers who are maybe charged with some misconduct or have some administrative issues, we get to assist them through that process. So I've been both a military prosecutor and a defense attorney in the military. Much like the civilian side, I'd been a criminal defense attorney and then went to the prosecutor side. And I think that perspective is very important for our jurists in the state. I think having that practical experience and being able to see both sides has aided me on the bench from a practical perspective, certainly. And I think it's invaluable experience to bring. I guess all that being said, my most important job is being a father to our two small children. My wife, Katie, and I have been blessed with a 2.5-year-old little boy and an 8-month-old little girl. So they're keeping us busy as well in this season of life, which is beautiful and busy and fun all together. But that's my most important job by far, despite all the other heavy titles that I've got. But very humbled to be able to serve in all those ways, and very thankful for the voters in North Carolina that gave me that opportunity to serve at the Court of Appeals the last few years. And we've been running for the Supreme Court. I've started the campaign over a year and a half ago, talking to voters across the state about the importance of our state courts and why I think I'm the best candidate for the job this year. North Carolina, I think citizens overwhelmingly want judges who are not activists, judges who stay in their lane, conservative constitutional judges that are committed to the rule of law, and that we're not going up there as politicians and sitting in robes. And I think I've proven that as a prosecutor, as a practicing attorney, as a jurist, the best evidence, and also as a soldier. I kind of equate my judicial role to that of putting on the uniform. You don't go in there with any political agenda. You're there to follow the Constitution, protect the Constitution, and follow the rule of law. And that's what we do as jurists. That's what we do as soldiers. And I think the North Carolinians have seen, hopefully, that I've done that. All our opinions are public. You can read all of our opinions on the NC Court's website. And I encourage you. I know it's a lot. It's probably a lot to dig through, and not everybody has that much time, but it's there. I've actually fought for some transparency issues at our court since I got there. As a district court judge, a trial court judge, everything I did, I put my name on it and signed it. So we have petition panels, kind of emergency stuff at our court, at the Court of Appeals. And when I got there, I thought it was kind of strange that people didn't know who were sitting on these panels. And so I think it's very important, especially us as elected judges. It's in our Constitution that we're all elected in North Carolina, that voters be able to see who are sitting on these panels. So we have changed that as a court to, after 90 days at least, citizens in North Carolina can see who was sitting on those panels. And I thought that was an important change that we made at the court. We've also worked on efficiency there. I think since I've been in there in January 2021, we've consistently gotten more efficient, and we've had good leadership there. And I'm proud of that, being a process of that so that people get more consistent opinions, they get them faster. The way we do work there, it would be the equivalent of writing 2 term papers a week. So very high volume, but very serious work. And I'm proud of how we've been able to efficiently deliver justice for North Carolinians. I think the North Carolinians overall want jurists who have good experience. I think one distinction in this race is that I've actually been a trial court judge here in North Carolina. I've actually practiced in our courts, and as I go across the state, talking to members of the bar and other judges, they think that perspective is extremely important to add to the Supreme Court. And notably, with Justice Morgan resigning, whose seat I'm running for, there are no former trial court judges on the bench, on the Supreme Court bench here in North Carolina. So our judges in the trenches in the trial courts recognize how important it is to have that perspective. I recognize how important that is to have that perspective, especially after already serving at the Court of Appeals, and not trying to retry cases from the district court. Looking for legal errors is what we do there, and being able to make sure that we appreciate what's going on down on the ground in those trial court rooms, and appreciating our standards of review, and that those judges are in the courtroom. All those people are in the courtroom looking at it in real time and judging credibility. And so our job is not to retry cases. It's look for errors and make sure that people got fair trials. And so I think having that perspective at the Supreme Court is just vitally important. And, our job is to interpret the law. It's not to make the law. We're not, like I said, we're not politicians in robes up there. There's a separate branch of government that makes laws. That's the legislature. And too often we've seen activist judges that want to go up there and change the law through the court system. And that's not what our Constitution says. That's not what our founders intended. I believe in the separation of powers in our state. And it doesn't work if you have activist judges. The further away you get from the written law and the original intent of the legal document, the more the judges are becoming the policymakers. The more we're putting our spin on whether it's a statute, constitutional amendment, text of a constitution. The people ratify constitutions, amendments. You send your elected representatives to make the law. It's not our job to change the law through the court system. It's our job to interpret it as narrowly as possible and make sure that we're adhering to the Constitution as closely as we can. And that way, the law is closer to you, the people, than it is to what us, the judges, want it to be or think it should be, which is not how our system of government is formed. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. Our website for the campaign is jeffersongriffin.com. I think it's very important that all our citizens in North Carolina become educated about these judicial races. They are some of the most impactful, if not the most impactful, on the ballot. Whatever you care about in politics or in the state, your children, public safety, being able to live and thrive, have a healthy business climate in our state courts touch all of it. And it is so vitally important that we have educated, informed voters about these judicial races in our state. And I believe that, objectively, if you look at the choices you have in the race here, that you will hopefully want to support my campaign and my candidacy and help send me to the Supreme Court here in North Carolina for an 8-year term. So these are very impactful. Again, I hope you'll do as much work as you can to get to know us, and the best work, the best indicator is our opinions. So I encourage you with what time you have to do that. But, we can't talk a lot about policies, but we can talk about our judicial philosophies and how we interpret the law. And I think I've articulated some of that to you today and how I look at it. I do not see myself as a legislator or a policy changer. We're there to strictly interpret the law. And I think that's what North Carolinians have consistently wanted in our jurists. And it's made our state healthy. It's respected the separation of powers and helped us thrive as a state. One of the really kind of secondary things about our job that I love is that we get to mentor young people, whether it's undergraduate students, especially law students that are coming through, and even younger high school and middle-aged kids that are really hungry for civic education. So one of my joys of the job is being able to give access to our court and hopefully mentor some of these younger folks to care about our system of government, which is amazing. The American government our form of government is really still a great experiment and the envy of the world. I've been to places through military service where people don't understand the rule of law. They don't understand equal rights. And so that is something unique to our country that we must be proud of, and we've got to fight to protect. And I see that as part of my job as a elected jurist in North Carolina, is to help educate our students, our young children, our new lawyers coming up, about just how important, how special that is, and not just them, but all of our country. And that's one of the good things about these races, is that hopefully we get to be ambassadors for our judicial system, and that you as voters and citizens know that there are good people that are out here willing to serve, and that we care about our state, we care about the law, we care about your well-being, and we want equal opportunity for everyone in our state. And equality under the law is how we get there. And so we're working hard to get out and tell as many folks as possible. I can't obviously be everywhere across the state. We've got over 7 million voters now. So shows like this, opportunities like this, and you as citizens going out and telling people about my candidacy is very important for us to be able to communicate effectively, and for us to have an educated citizen group about these judicial races. But I encourage you to keep exploring, keep looking. The website's jeffersongriffin.com. Like I said, NC Courts has all our opinions on there. I'd ask for your support, ask for your prayers, ask for your vote come November or earlier, with early voting starting. I think we got a streamer up there that gives the early voting information. So go ahead and take those dates down as well. And I'll look forward to hopefully serving you on the North Carolina Supreme Court next year. Thank you.